Hello and welcome to another battle report. This is 1850 points of Eldar with Dark Eldar allies versus an amalgamated force of Grey Knights, Imperial Guard, and an Inquisitor, and a bunch of servo skulls. This is my Cloudstrike list. It's got combined arms attachment. It's got 2 units of jet bikes for objective secured. They have invisible scatter lasers on them right now. I have 2 units of fire dragons and a unit of warp spiders that make up an aspect host formation, and those are the 3 Falcons. They are as you see them there with scatter lasers and shuriken cannons. And then I have some scythe guard deep striking. His list is going to take forever. He's got 2 units of strike, 2 strike squads. Those are on the left. Those are a unit of the Imperial Guard there. He's got 2 units of Terminators. He's got a Librarian, 2 Grey Knights, Dread Knights. Both, I think, have the incinerators and the heavy side cannon. One's got a sword. What am I missing? He has an Aegis defense line and a comms relay, and then he's got one guy's a Master of Ordnance. That's the Master of Ordnance he's pointing to, and the guy on the right, looks like he's holding a torch, is the Master of the Fleet. And then he has an Inquisitor, which was in the bottom right of the screen there. So here's a look at deployment. The table actually in terrain. Terrain is player set. There's 6 objectives on the table there. It is going to be hammer and anvil, and night fighting is in effect. The mission we're playing is an escalating maelstrom mission. You get 1 card on turn 1, and then you draw up to the number of cards that it is the turn. My opponent won the right to choose the table sides and the right to deploy first and go first or second. I only deployed my Wraith Knight, and because I saw that he only deployed his Imperial Guard guys with the comms relay, and everything else is in reserves, but everything that's part of the Nemesis strike force has the opportunity to come in on turn 1, and he did elect to try to bring everything on. And I, of course, reserved everything. I didn't want to give up first blood too easily. So this is the top of turn 1. I failed to seize the initiative. I'm not sure what good it would have done me. In any case, he smartly played to the mission and scored his first turn objective back there. But on the other hand, how could he have known how successful all of his shooting would be? The Master of Ordnance dropped a template on him, failed my save, failed my feel no pain. The heavy incinerator cannon wounded him. I failed my save. Took wounds off of that. Even the flamer wounded him. I think I failed that one too. So I failed 4 saves and 4 feel no pains in my first turn. So this is the bottom of turn 1. I drew hold objective 2, which is on that hill there, which I think I might have been able to do if I had jumped and run my Wraith Knight. I wasn't going to do that. I shot 1 heavy Wraith cannon at this Dread Knight here, did 3 wounds to him when he failed his invulnerable save. I shot the other heavy Wraith cannon at the other Dread Knight and did 2 wounds to it when he failed his invulnerable save. Fired the scatter lasers at the Terminators up on the hill there, but did nothing to them. And then in assaults, he took a wound from Hammer of Wrath, which is unfortunate, and then did nothing to me, and I managed to kill him before we got to the stomp phase. And here we are at the top of turn 2, and this is the first non-Eldar opponent to manage to kill the Wraith Knight. Due as much to my poor rolls as his bravery. He rolled entirely on, was it Sanctic? I think, and he got Vortex of Doom. Successfully cast Vortex of Doom. There was no chance for me to deny it. And then he did sufficient wounds to make me pick up my Wraith Knight off the table. So this is how turn 2 ends. He had given me a -1 to my reserve rolls, which nullified my Autarch. And the result is that my warp spiders, I could not bring them on. I actually used it to my advantage to keep the bikes off a little bit longer, though. Scythe guard in the bottom, they're completely erased one of the strike squads, and then shooting from the Falcons and a unit of fire dragons, and I think even the Dark Eldar warriors helped out a little bit, removing the Terminators off the hill. And that's it. Top of turn 3. I have decent luck. He tries to cast a psychic power on the Wraith Guard and it fails to do anything. He only manages to get a hull point off of the Wave Serpent, which had blown its shield already, I think. And in other news, his strike squad up there in the top left, they wrecked one Falcon, and in order to make a charge to the other one, they would have needed a 7, which they did not get. The Librarian and his guys made it into assault with the fire dragons after shooting them. The Exarch held up in a challenge, and that's it. So they stayed stuck in combat. He made his morale check. It's the bottom of 3, and I should have mentioned he failed his leadership check to give me another -1 to my reserve roll. So my warp spiders promptly came in, and I think they killed 6 out of 10, or I don't know, 6 or 7 out of that unit, and there's only like 3 or 4 models left. The Falcons took out the remaining Dread Knight pretty easily. He only had 1 wound left on him. The pulse lasers took care of him. And then in the assault phase, the Librarian and his Terminator pals easily killed the 1 fire dragon and consolidated towards the Falcons where my Warlord is. My Warlord's in the one that doesn't have the fancy copper leaf on it. And then the strike squad got severely whittled down by the jet bikes. So it's the top of turn 4. I should have mentioned the Scythe Guard mounted back up on their Wave Serpent and went to hold an objective, starting to score pretty well. For his part, his Librarian makes it into assault with Falcon and wrecks it, but he does not do enough damage to wreck the next one. He leaves it with 1 hull point because they're a squadron. Overwatch from those 3 bikes kills 2 Space Marines, so invisible scatter lasers are awesome, and I plan to model real ones as soon as possible. And then because the 2 guys I killed were the guys with the power weapons, he predicts we will be stuck in combat for the rest of the game. I say no way, but it is in fact true. He drops the Inquisitor and the Imperial Guard guys there on that objective in order to score, and as you can see he has a ton of points built up, and I only have a couple as of right now. It's the bottom of turn 4. The Scythe Guard disembark and erase another squad. I guess I'd like to point out that this would have happened in the last edition anyway. Both the strike squad and these Imperial Guardsmen would have been completely vaporized by a 5-man squad of these, so it's making no practical difference in the game. Warp Spider's got a 14-inch jump and materialized 1 inch away from the remaining dudes that were in here, and then shot them to pieces, and then assaulted the 1 guy that was still alive and clubbed him to death because they don't have any weapons. And over here, we remained locked in combat, but I did manage to score Ascendancy and a bunch of other stuff on this turn, so I started closing the gap as far as that was concerned. Oh, and I killed his Librarian and his bodyguards. So it's the top of turn 5. His ability to score is significantly diminished. He flies over this way and then goes flat out. He elects to not even shoot in order to score that objective on the hill. At this point in time, he's hoping the game ends on turn 5 and that I won't draw cards that I can score with. And we stay stuck in combat again, as he predicted. So here we are at the bottom of turn 5 and what turns out to be the end of the game on a natural die roll. I managed to hit it with the Exarch and the Autarch. It has Armored Ceramite, but I still managed to get 1 pen through from the Exarch. But even with this bonus on the pen chart, I don't get to blow it up, which is unfortunate, because it was in hover mode, so it was easy to shoot. I sent the bikes in over there to get some Hammer of Wrath and get some extra attacks on that guy, but sure enough couldn't kill him, and that is the way the game ends. I take back a very narrow victory.